You told about money management should be taught. How do you propose methods of teaching people how to save money?
Can I suggest, can I give you one simple example? Howard Gardner, who has been the proponent of multiple intelligences, did a very simple experiment with so-called bright mathematics students. He gave them a question which said, 100 school children need to go for a picnic. The school has minivans which can take only 12 students each. How many vans are required to take the 100 students to the picnic? Can somebody give me the answer?
9,
8, 1. A majority of the children who are good in maths, they said either 8 vans and 4 remainder. Very good in mathematics. So divide 100 by 12, you get 8 and you have a remainder 4. They are perfectly done. You see. That means to say 8 vans will take 96 children and 4 will stay back. There were some who even had the audacity to write 8.33 vans. Now that is where this thing comes in. How do you teach them? If we are just teaching them how to do long division, they will never understand what this is. So when we are converting the same mathematics that we are teaching, we need to convert it back into human things. The issue that yes, it takes 9 vans, even though 8 seats will be empty in the 9th van, it doesn't matter, but you do need 9 vans, that's it, as simple as that. One boy who really got the appreciation of the teacher said 8 vans and 4 children in the teacher's car.
My cousin Mr. Ram Gopal, he spoke about different forms of FDs, RDs and all that. At this age, I found it difficult to understand all this. How do you expect the schools to understand all these RDs, FDs and those funds? A parent can help, but I doubt the child can understand. The parent should do all the work and the child just reap it later. This is a good way of getting wealth in that form.
See, these are all what I told you about the savings bank and RD account and FDR. These are the very basic banking methods. And I think anybody, any literate person will know what it is. Anybody having a bank account will come to know that there are different types of things. And fortunately, I had the advantage because I was already working in a bank. I could instill the same in my children. But I don't think it is anyway difficult. Any parent wanting to give this kind of a knowledge to the children, he himself will know it, or otherwise he can, when he goes to the bank, he can know it from the bank and inculcate the same discipline in his children.
This is the only way of what you call getting from financial literacy. Financial literacy only about deposits and the other things in life, you know, about finances. We've been taught that wealth means in 3 forms: in form of an asset, in form of liquidity, in form of gold or cash. And he focused on one point. Well, is that enough? Is a question to you.
See, here the topic of discussion has been restricted to finances as savings in respect of children. So that's why we did not went into the aspects of stock and shares, bullion and other things. So that's why we have restricted it to cash and savings.
My question is to Dr. Ali. He's a behavioral scientist. So basically, what aspects of behavior which can we teach children which will help them to save instead of looking at short term?
That's exactly what I felt even when Mr. Kunal was asking this question, that it's amazing, but it's a proven fact of behavioral science that you're not taught banking till you are 20, 25 and then you want to learn. It's much more difficult. You teach a 12-year-old about banking and he learns much faster. Since this IT age has come in, you know very well. You teach a 25-year-old how to operate a computer and you teach a 12-year-old how to operate a computer. Who learns faster? So if we devise methods which are not difficult at all to tell these children, one of the classic examples of that which is happening right here in India is a lot of children who hate maths and struggle till 10th standard, and then they say, I am not interested in taking up science only because I hate maths. I don't mind studying physics, chemistry, biology, but I hate maths. That's why I'll give up on maths. And what will you do? I'll take up commerce. Doesn't commerce have everything to do with account? Yes. Now, how are you finding your business maths that you are doing in commerce? Oh, I am thoroughly enjoying it. I am getting 80% marks. That itself gives us an example. That is one way it has been done. But unfortunately, that being done at the +2 level. Why not start earlier is my question. It's not at all difficult. We can always devise ways and means of teaching them the value of what it is. It's not just a question of savings or interest or something, but anything to do with value. That's why I gave you the example of Howard Gardner. That the value of the fact that you can have either 8 vans or 9 vans. You cannot have 8.33 vans, and you cannot have 8 vans and 4 remainder. So we are going too much by the letter of the law and not going into the spirit of the law.
Our parents have always taught us traditionally to earn and save, and we just continue to do that. My question to you, Dr. Ali, how do you really generate wealth? How do you generate wealth? Actually it's the wealth which is really going to count in your rainy days, not the amount of savings. Your savings might be in a debt investment also.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely right.
Actually, this is not the topic for the day. It's not the topic for the day. How to generate wealth. I think we can have it sometime
both are
later.
very closely connected.
No, maybe closely connected, but the thing is whether we should inculcate these habits of saving and spending in children. That is the question, not to generate the wealth. So we may ask some other question.
Just for Girish, is it right to leave it just an experience? Or don't you think that children should be taught from a very young age? Otherwise, after like 22 years of studying and I go into the real world, I start spending all the money. After 10 years, I incur losses. I can't take care of my family. So you think by leaving it an experience, what will happen to me? I'm just ruined after studying so many years.
For Chetna, if I were to take a mother, a father sits and tells a child that I'm going to give you 1,000 rupees to manage your month, and I believe 1,000 rupees is enough for you to carry yourself. There's probably another family that believes that 1,000 rupees is good enough for them to run the entire family on a wholesale basis. In terms of money management and carrying yourself forward, I believe that it is a part of our upbringing that we learn how to carry ourselves in life. If my mother were to decide that she wants me to learn the way of money, she says, son, I'm ready to buy you what you need to get to college, your stationery, your books. But if you want to buy a bike, you need to score in your studies. You need to prove your worth. So there is some amount of credibility to each of your actions. I wouldn't sit with my child, or my mother wouldn't sit with me and tell, son, 1,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees is going to fetch you a world. You need to set aside 500 rupees each year, and as you grow, you need to start investing. Probably at 60 years, you'll have a chunk of money that will take care of yourself. Because this is purely hypothetical and can never be understood as long as we experience. As long as we earn money, we will never know the value of money. So yes, it can be inculcated by way of we bring our children. I'm sure every parent values money and has a certain amount of criteria in giving his or her child money. And that in turn